So today, we're diving into the science behind one of the most debilitating conditions out there, migraine. And we're going to explore why a plant, cannabis, is suddenly at the very center of the search for real, lasting relief.
First off, why are we even looking for new options? Well, let's talk about the current gold standard, triptans. These are the go-to migraine-specific drugs. But get this, a huge analysis of over 50 trials found that after 24 hours, they only keep about a quarter of patients pain-free, just 25%. That leaves a massive number of people still in agony.
And that reality leads researchers to a pretty stark conclusion. The tools we have right now just aren't cutting it for everybody. It's this huge unmet need that's pushing scientists to explore completely new avenues. And that's what brings us to cannabis.
All right, here's the game plan. We've just touched on the problem. Next, we're going to look inside our own bodies at a kind of hidden system. Then, we'll meet the key chemical players in cannabis and its, supporting cast, and see how they all work together in something called the Entourage Effect. And finally, we'll look at what this all means for the future of treatment.
Okay, to really get how cannabis might work for migraines, we have to start by looking inside ourselves. We're going to use a pretty simple lock and key analogy. And we're starting with the lock, a system that's already built into your body, running right now. It's called the Endocannabinoid System, or ECS for short. And no, this isn't some foreign system that cannabis introduces. It's a fundamental part of our own biology. Think of it as a master regulator, a huge network that's constantly working to keep things in balance, what scientists call homeostasis, in everything from how we feel pain to our immune response.
So, this system has two main locks, or receptors. On one side, you have the CB1 receptors. These guys are mostly in the brain, and they're the ones responsible for the psychoactive effects you might associate with cannabis. But on the other side, scattered throughout your body and your immune cells, you have CB2 receptors. Their job is all about dialing down inflammation, and, this is really important, they don't produce a high. That distinction is absolutely key here.
So, if our body has all these locks, where do the keys come from? Well, our body actually makes its own. But the cannabis plant produces chemical compounds that are so similar they can fit into those very same locks. And these, of course, are the famous cannabinoids.
Let's meet the two most famous keys. First, you've got THC. It's the key that fits perfectly into that CB1 lock in the brain, which causes the high. But it's also a powerful pain reliever. In fact, some research suggests it's 20 times more anti-inflammatory than aspirin. Then you have CBD. Notice it doesn't really fit that same lock. It's non-psychoactive, but it has its own amazing benefits. And, get this, it can actually change the way THC works.
And this is where it gets super interesting. You might think of THC and CBD as opposites, but they can actually be these incredible partners. Studies have shown that CBD can help cancel out some of THC's less wanted side effects, like anxiety or a racing heart. It can even help with the memory issues sometimes linked to THC, all while adding its own anti-inflammatory power to the whole mix. But wait, the story doesn't stop with just THC and CBD, not even close. The cannabis plant is like this incredible chemical factory, and it makes hundreds of other compounds that play a really important role. So let's meet the supporting cast, the terpenes and flavonoids. If you've ever smelled a cannabis strain that's a little citrusy or peppery or reminds you of pine trees, you're experiencing terpenes, and they're not just about the smell. As you can see here, linalool, which you also find in lavender, can have calming effects, and beta-caryophyllene, that spicy scent from black pepper, is a serious anti-inflammatory that can actually talk directly to our CB2 receptors. And then you've got flavonoids. You actually know these, even if you don't realize it. They're the compounds that give fruits and veggies their brilliant colors. Think of the deep purple in blueberries. Well, in cannabis, they act as powerful antioxidants, and they have their own anti-inflammatory and even neuroprotective effects. The cannabis plant even makes a couple that are totally unique to it, called Canflavin A and B. And please, don't think of these as minor players. Just to give you some perspective, research has shown that one of these, Canflavin A, has an anti-inflammatory effect that is 30 times more potent than aspirin. 30 times! That's just incredible. So, we have cannabinoids, we have terpenes, and we have flavonoids. Why in the world does it matter that they're all there together? Well, that brings us to what might be the most important concept in all of cannabis science, the entourage effect. It's this beautiful idea of chemical synergy.
The theory is that all these different compounds, when you take them together in their natural state, they work in harmony to create an effect that's way bigger and better than any single one of them could achieve on its own. They boost each other's good qualities and can even dial down each other's potential bad ones.
I love this analogy. Think of it like a symphony. THC might be the soloist, playing the main melody of pain relief. But then you add the strings, the terpenes like linalool, and suddenly you have this layer of calm and sedation. Then comes the percussion, the flavonoids like Canflavin A, driving this powerful anti-inflammatory beat. What you get isn't just a bunch of separate sounds, it's a full, rich symphony of relief that you just couldn't get from any single compound playing alone.
Okay, so what does all of this incredibly complex plant chemistry mean for the future of medicine, especially when it comes to treating something as complex as a migraine?
This quote from the research really just nails it. We have to stop thinking of cannabis as one single thing. It's so much more accurate to think of it like the entire category of antidepressants. You know how there are SSRIs and SNRIs and they all work differently for different people? Well, it's the same idea here. There are countless cannabis strains, each with its own unique chemical fingerprint that will produce totally different effects.
And that leads us to a final, really provocative thought. We're moving way beyond just THC and CBD now, into this whole symphony of compounds. So, could the future of migraine treatment be less about a one-size-fits-all pill and more about a personalized cannabis strain, one that's been specifically designed with a precise chemical profile, tailored to fit your unique biology and your specific needs? It's a brand new frontier for sure, but it holds an absolutely incredible amount of promise.